What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Double Tech. It's your boy Dave here with my co-host Q.
What's up? What's up?
What's good, man? Hey, so we had an NBA All-Star weekend that was action-packed out there in Cleveland.
That's what
We
we call
saw
it.
the best and brightest, yeah, action-packed, right? We saw better dunks during the game than we did during the actual dunk contest. There left much to be desired in terms from an entertainment value standpoint this past weekend. And just wanted to know how you felt about the NBA 75 celebration and people not showing up and what was going on with the whole All-Star weekend being in Cleveland.
It's a mix, right? Because it's supposed to be this big thing. It's in Cleveland. I mean, I'm not sure what they want to do there, but it's not Atlanta or Charlotte and things of that nature. It's not Vegas. Also, maybe COVID plays a part in it also because there's supposed to be
Sure.
all these restrictions, right? And it's funny that they highlight it now and bring it all up, but you got a lot of players that legit say, I go play games and I go home. Lonzo Ball was one that came out and said that. So you add in these extracurricular activities, it just adds to the lineup of they don't really care that much about COVID, right? They're just trying to have players alienated if they don't agree with what the whole status is. Because NBA, it's like NBA has to have something that the world agrees with. So that's the easiest one for them to go with. And now you're like okay with just having every player unvaccinated, not unvaccinated, don't matter who, come on out. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of
Yeah.
players weren't willing to, I feel like they weren't willing to risk it being in, even just getting in the protocol, because all it takes is one case and then they're going to say, well, if you were at the All-Star game, you got to sit.
Yeah, that was something that was going on with Russell Westbrook. Despite he was saying he was celebrating his mother's birthday, which I'm sure is true, but
Mm-hmm.
he was probably affected by, hey, I don't want to get COVID or risk it at all. The
Mm-hmm.
Lakers aren't in a position to risk it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Russell addressing it and saying, I'm in my 80s. I'm not pulling up here. It's not worth the risk, regardless of the 75 celebration. And that was kind of disheartening that at least the players that you knew were going right now, that everybody didn't show up when you
Yeah.
were in the 75. Like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of felt like they didn't respect it as much. I don't know. I understand everyone has their own life
Yeah.
and they have different priorities during their vacation time. Absolutely. But when the NBA is honoring 75 years of its history and has selected its 75 best players, I feel like you need to get as many of those guys out there as you can.
Yeah, but
Um,
like, what are you going to celebrate though? The NBA's
mm-hmm.
inconsistency. You know, you can't
Fair
have it
enough.
both ways.
With Ant Davis making it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people left off that I'm sure would have arrived that didn't. T Mac would have been there, Clay would have been
Yeah,
there. All these other guys
Dwight
would
would have
have
probably
been.
been there.
Dwight would have definitely showed up. So it makes it difficult because I feel like there isn't the energy in the celebrations and the accolades as there once was. I was watching the NBA all-time like 50, the 50th in
Mm-hmm.
1996. And the excitement in all of the players sharing yearbooks,
Yeah.
getting excited about the fact that I'm in the same building with these guys. It's kind of lost on some of the younger players, I feel.
Yes, but I
That's all.
also think, Kyrie Irving's sitting at home laughing at people right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh no, we can't do that. No,
Yeah,
no, no. We got to stay at home. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Look, he could come to that though because it's a away game. You know what I'm saying? He could have came to that,
Oh
right?
man.
Right. See,
No,
that's the
it's
purpose. But I do have to agree. This is a part of that factor though of the new generation and the way they're viewing the game as a whole. That does play a part too. But I do think that the NBA's regulations, the rules have a part to play. But we're in a sensitive time right now.
mhm.
So what do you do? Like I said, I mean, players have come out and said, man, I go play away games. I'm back in my hotel room. So if I can't even go out and be in an open setting during away
Mhm.
games, or I'm gonna end up having issues. A lot of players are unvaccinated right now, right? That's been a big thing. Only certain players are getting penalized for it. Those unvaccinated players and the people in the 75, they're not going to go either because they don't want to put themselves in a predicament where they're trying to tell them they can't play. We're in the stretch now. It's all-star break is gone. We in the
Yeah,
deep
it's
stretch.
over.
It's
Mhm.
if a player gets caught up on some COVID nonsense from being in an open setting, guys all over TV are going to eat it alive.
Yep, there's
I'm
only
not putting it
25
at
games
risk.
left.
I'm not putting
Oh,
it at risk. So many teams are so tight right now. That 10 through 6 in both sides, it's split. It's dicey.
Yeah, and there's some teams trying to avoid the play-in entirely. And to go back to what you're saying about everyone being cautious and what are you supposed to do, we heard some recent comments from Adam Silver where he addressed this on Get Up, and he was talking about the COVID mandates in New York and how he thought it was silly, basically, that Kyrie cannot play the home games, like you're saying, but he can play all of those away games. And so finally, he's kind of stepping up and taking his job as commissioner seriously. And now he's utilizing, his power as the leader of the business to influence those who are now writing laws and the cities that are making this money, because he has to apply pressure. No one else can do that.
Yeah.
Not the NBA PA, nothing like that.
He's definitely going to have to.
This situation with Silver seems like it should have happened a little while ago. It's just we were always waiting for the All-Star break to make these claims. It's like he's felt this way the entire time, and he was waiting for this setup, right? And that kind of dissuades me from like how real is Adam Silver keeping it? I know he's always trying to make the best move in terms of what the owners and the league want in terms of making money and then satiating the players. But how real is he keeping it with what he wants for the league? Is it about safety anymore? Is that a factor for Silver?
I'm gonna be honest with you. To me, I mean, look where we live now, man. You can't keep it 100 these days. I'm gonna say that you're not allowed to keep it 100. You got to keep it a cool 70, maybe 75 on a good day. Because what happens if you keep it 100? You're gonna get canceled. And I have to stick up and say that if he comes out as the owner, I'm not owner, the commissioner, it says a statement that's completely against what all the owners feel and all these states are putting out. Because let's be honest here, the owners are kind of the ambassador of the states. You know, they're talking to the city's mayor. They're talking to the senators. They're part of that because they bring a lot of money to the city. That's going against, the 75%. The players have a voice, but their voice is more 25, right? So what does he come out and say? And now he has the whole world canceling him like Kyrie Irving. You can't be the commissioner and live that way. It's a sensitive time, and I think it's kind of unfair to kind of put him in that spot. I'll be honest with you. We do this show. We try to stay as far away from COVID as possible when we talk, because you can't say nothing without getting attacked. Either you agree with it and people attack you, or you disagree that people attacking you. And it's not civil. I think he's done a good job just trying to mitigate, because we also know that the players, the association and the league, they sat down about this and they came to an agreement. I have to dislike the fact that a lot of that agreement wasn't held up for Kyrie Irving's case because of the Brooklyn Nets. That's where you should have stepped up, not in a sense of saying I believe in COVID or not, but in a sense of saying we set these rules in place. You are now costing us money. Fix it, or I'll get somebody who will.
I agree with that. Absolutely. I mean, they were at a point where even the owner had to come out and say, my only religion, my only function here is winning. It's the only thing I care about. So we're going to allow Kyrie to play the away games, regardless of the wishes of the coach or Silver or anyone else. And at that point, that's when Silver should have known, okay, I need to take the reins on this one. Whenever LeBron was vaccinated and then failed multiple times on his COVID test and was unable to play, and then he's immediately tweeting like, this is some bullshit. Okay, that's where Silver has to step up, because now there's too much of a spotlight on it. And at this point in All-Star break, everyone's seeing how exciting the upcoming playoffs is going to be, but it's also affecting the money that was put on the table prior to the season starting. There's a lot of people that have their bread on Brooklyn. A lot of hedge fund managers that are picking against the Bucks or whatever it may be. And these guys need Kyrie to play.
And I mean, it goes to something we saw, which I didn't agree with, but, we saw from a fan that said, you look back at the league, when Stern was a commissioner, and you look at it now, yes, he made some rash decisions and some choices, but look at the league now versus then. And I can get the sentiment and feeling that way, but you're still not going to convince me that I don't think Stern would make it as commissioner right now, personally. Not in today's age.
And is that because he's an iron fist ruler at his time, or what's the thing that makes you feel like
it's
Stern wouldn't be successful?
Number one, it's a slave mentality part of the game, right? You were only going to suppress the voice of players for so long, because the thing I feel we're getting now from the NBA vice before is the league is there's so much talent, but it's not just the talent no more that's spread out. It's the voices, it's social media. These guys can say whatever they want when they want. All he had to worry about was ESPN getting maybe Kobe on there and he says something crazy, but they usually have that under control. You know, they have a hand in these ESPN interviews. This stuff ain't just rolling and wild, and you know, they got a hand. But now LeBron James can go on Twitter any point, say something wild about the commissioner. Now you got 50% of the fans that want him to go, and you got 50% of the commands that want LeBron James to be quiet.
And he can set the world on fire immediately. And Stern wouldn't be able to handle the player empowerment era, is what you're saying.
He couldn't handle players having cornrows and wearing jeans, man. Like, you know, like.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, Stern introduced the globalization of the game.
Yes.
He definitely increased the brand and the marketability of the game. And he was ultimately the engine for allowing the shoe companies and then subsequently AAU to put their claws and dig into the NBA. So really, Stern is the one who created this whole era.
I have to say he did pave the way.
Yes, because we're setting up kids getting paid for basketball since 7 years old. That's a Stern idea. He wanted academies. He wanted it to be similar to the structure of soccer, which is something that Silver has also emulated. He's saying, I don't care if there's only 2 teams in the league. Look at the top soccer leagues like La Liga when we had Cristiano versus Lionel Messi every year. He was perfectly fine with that. If that's what, hey, we Cavaliers and Warriors all the time, that's cool. Stern himself said if he had it under his control, it would be Lakers versus Lakers every finals. So it's interesting how Stern has taken it from we need to market the game and the viability of the game globally matters in the big markets to Silver realizing the market is accessible through social media wherever you are in the world. We can make Golden State, Cleveland, Indiana, Memphis, wherever you want to be, can be the hot spot as long as we have the star that everyone loves and they're promoted. And that's why we see the potential success of John Morant, why we saw Cleveland finally win a championship. That stuff would never happen under Stern.
In these places, and the big thing is these players, they've learned from those from before. They've slowly learned, like I said, there used to be like 3 players that kind of had a voice that would actually speak up against the machine and say how they felt. Guys don't really care no more. And I think they've learned to get more secure in their funds. So in the act of another lockout, they're prepared. These guys have learned the value that they bring to the game. I mean, you're seeing, you know, owners come out and say something wild and like this, they're gone. You know, get your team up, pack your bags, get out of here. Between the social injustice movement, between money. I mean, the Players Association right now is in its height of success. And as a commissioner, you've got to learn that, like, okay, just as much, because let's be honest here, Stern was more of an owner's guy. You know,
absolutely. He represents the owners.
Yes, he represents the owners because the long as he got the owners in his pocket, he ain't going nowhere. One thing the players, I don't think the players can do is get the commissioner out. They can rally and rah-rah, but I don't think you can get the commissioner out. But the owners,
they could, Roger Goodell would have been gone a long time ago if the players could rally him out, bro.
You know, Stern had his way, and that was his version of playing it right, though, right? He secured his job. But you know me, I'm just going to bring this up as a piece of hate because you know I feel a way about this. The things like blocking the potential trade for the Lakers.
How I know you was gonna bring up Chris Paul, dog.
You know, set us back 5 years with that movement. Not only did we get blocked, we had upset players coming back to the locker room like, dang, y'all gonna get rid of me? That's cold-blooded. Lamar Odom started doing drugs. They got wild. Things got wild. And I think you're getting more of a fair play with Adam Silver.
I think that Adam Silver is going to continue to promote whatever is best for the brand of the NBA, which does not necessarily include the owners anymore. The Donald Sterling situation was a major and stark contrast from what I would have expected to happen with Stern. If that would have happened with Stern, so what, bro? They're sweeping it under the rug. They're acting like it's not a big deal. They're going to make comments about how he's growing and he's changing and he'll do a PSA, but Sterling would have kept the Clippers. Silver knows that long term, that social justice was going to be a propellant issue for the next 10 years. Like, it's going to surge where the league goes. Are we a forward-thinking league, or are we viewed as the NFL?
I mean, let's not forget, players were willing to sit out until something was done. These people, they're ready. The morals have changed.
And that's exactly what they should have done, because the ethics have changed as well. It's not about what you can get away with anymore. It's about what you should do.
Yes.
What's the right thing to do? And the players having this full autonomy and controlling their destiny for free agency, I see that as only a plus. And the reason why is because people who want to go back and disparage the new changing of the guard and the friendliness and all that, we've seen from the guys now post LeBron era, where Giannis, Ja Morant, guys that want to win with the team that selected them, Luka, right? They want to win, but they're not on the jump on the bandwagon type thing. But they will use their influence to attract players, because honestly, who knows better what's going on in the locker room than the stars?
Yes.
And people make fun of LeBron for creating the engine and being the GM and all that.
You're going to do something, though. You're going to try.
But who has a better chance of creating a team that can work? LeBron or random executive in Indiana? Random executive in Sacramento?
Especially when you know it's going to come off your back. Like, what can I do with these? What can I do with these guys?
Look at the way Harden takes control of his legacy. It doesn't matter what you guys are saying about Brooklyn being the best team ever. We only played under 20 games together. If we would have ever had a real deal, maybe we're the top offensive. All of that, forget it. Because I need to control my legacy, which means I need to hoop right now. I can't be waiting on Kyrie. I can't be waiting on KD to get healthy. I don't need to be worrying about any of that. So James Harden controlling his destiny to go play with Embiid is something that the league benefits from that would not have been possible with Stern.
And we have to hold that too, where, Stern would have shut it down. But I think this is the part where Adam Silver helps the owners. Y'all make the choice. You make the choice. You don't have to be stuck with Ben Simmons. You don't have to be stuck with James Harden. These two players being unhappy and just being willing to sit, like Ben Simmons was willing to lose money. That is not good for the league. Not having your potential defensive player of the year, not having a former MVP or a scoring champion, somebody that's almost averaging a triple-double, not having them play is not good for the league. And so, obviously, times have just changed. They have changed, and I think Adam Silver has done a phenomenal job changing with them. Are there times where I think he could be a little more stern or vocal? Yes, but he is a very methodical man in the way that he moves. He does it the way I do it. Sometimes you got to let things develop before you shoot yourself in the foot and come out crazy. I like the way he does things, because when somebody says there's an investigation on a player, the investigation is to play out before he puts somebody out.
Right. Whereas Stern would jump the gun. Stern would be in a situation where he's trying to,
he'd be in that Roger Goodell situation. Boot him. And the NFL watching in, I hate to bring them into this, but I know every day, that's how Silver's doing a good job. NFL players look in every day and just wish and pray they could get half the deal the NBA is working with as far as morality. We're seeing it with the coaching issues right now. The Snyder situation, all these things, withholding emails. And there's no accountability, but the NBA, the NFL players have shot themselves in the foot for so many years with these CBAs that they have no bargaining chip. The NBA, like Shaq said,
they can't crawl out of that.
Yes, like Shaq says all the time, like, we built this for you, just take care of it. I do wish that, like we said, the players would be more competitive outside of just the championship, because it did used to be about being the best at everything. You couldn't be like, oh, he's one of the best dunkers ever if you ain't win a dunk contest. 3-point shooters, you got to get you a 3-point contest. all-stars. You trying to like, yeah, we don't got to play that great defense, but people was trying to get all-star MVP. It wasn't just one player kind of just like, I'm about to run this show real quick. You had to go make it.
Yeah, you had to go take it from somebody.
And
I
then
mean, I'll give it to Curry.
And you had to ball too, because if you took like 5 shots and missed, your time was up. You had to go up there and like be like, dang, make everybody be like, ooh, I want to watch that.
Yeah, when you got Steph Curry out there going for 50, what are your chances of getting shots up? It's not happening. You need to go take it. And these guys were happy to just hang out and run around and be out there. And that's fine. But Curry doesn't have to prove anything to us anymore.
Nope.
LeBron doesn't have to prove anything to us anymore.
Nope.
Where's the Embiid, the Giannis MVP, the Luka MVP, like LaMelo, Ja Morant? I'm not saying they didn't have flashes, didn't have moments, but sustained energy throughout would have been great to see as a callback and to honor the 75. In terms of where we're going with Stern versus Silver allows for the league to get to a point now where they have the ability to say, I know I'm secure, I can chill out, I don't need to worry about going hard for every single second of the All-Star weekend. But at the same time, the players and the media are putting so much pressure on each player each season to perform not only to their own standards, but to what we view as valuable. Because Ja Morant is in year 3? And if he fails to get conference finals, we're going to say he didn't live up to the hype. He didn't live up to it this year, regardless of what they do. And so that's what it comes down to here, is that winning is going to cure all the ills. And the competitive nature, you want to save it for the end, but we need to see it throughout, because we don't believe in the Lakers because we haven't seen it throughout. This would not have been allowed if it was Stern. I'll be honest. What we're seeing with the Lakers, Westbrook would have been out there and he would have got discounted out. They would have dug up some dirt and found a way to get his money off the books. Guarantee that the Lakers are making it, bro.
Yeah.
Silver is going to let it rock. Like you said,
I enjoy this version of the NBA, man. I enjoy the fact that somebody else has a chance. And I'm a Lakers fan, but, for so long, like we look at the Warriors and how many times they got it, like it really wasn't given to them. It was taken. They swapped the coach out, got him one, boom. Then they add another player, grab another one. Why not? But they put a team together and made some things work. And they didn't just go out there and like everybody. They had teams picked out that everybody just knew was going to take the ship before that first championship for the Lakers.
Yeah,
the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Warriors was like, oh yeah, guess what? We got to try to dynasty this thing real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like it's rare, but now those options put out. Like, would you be surprised if a Dallas team streaked in the playoffs and put something together? Phoenix again. The West looks like the Wild Wild West it once did. The East, to me, now is when one of its most competitive streaks right now, as far as putting teams together ever.
Maybe ever.
Yes, the Bucks won a ship.
Yep.
Says enough. So there's competitive side as far as the day-to-day. I'm not really going to touch on the rest issue for the players right now. And that may play a factor too when we talk about All-Stars, because these last 2.5 years is the most basketball played in history in a span of time. You go from bubble, short break, regular season, condensed games, back to the most back-to-backs ever. Still a short off season because you're trying to play catch up and get your dates right, to jumping right back into the next season. We've obviously seen the injuries.
And don't forget the Olympics just happened.
And the Olympics just happened. And you remember the injuries from the playoffs last season that kind of made the playoffs kind of dull for me. I'm not going to lie. Like it sucked because it was a lot. It wasn't your normal, like a couple guys go down. Like the stars of every team were going down. And it wasn't appealing. So you go from that, especially. So if you look at your Donovan Mitchells, your Chris Pauls and stuff, it's like, man, I can't really risk it, because if I get hurt again in the playoffs, that's going to be
our team has no chance.
Yeah. Chris Paul's been dealing with that criticism his whole career, because the playoffs come around, he's hurt. So I can get missing out. So I'm trying to be patient with it, because just with everything, COVID has changed so much of the game. It's changed the entire sport right now. So I'm trying to be patient and think like, okay, let's get through this year. Off season's coming. We may be crowning a new champ. When you crown a new champ, that kind of opens the floodgates for everybody. Now they feel like they have a shot. They feel like they have a shot, and the competition's right back at it. And I think that's where it's been this year. The Bucks winning ship, having won one. boom, everybody makes some moves. The Bulls, the Heat, everybody's moving pieces. Now, I mean, I just can't look at anybody and give a clear-cut favorite on either side right now.
And I'm with you. And that's where we have to differ from the arguments that we've seen is that Stern, the NBA was more exciting during his time, I guess, with Kobe, Jordan, Iverson, that kind of thing. But it paved the way for now, which is the most exciting in the NBA, I think, because I don't want to get to the parity level of the NFL where anyone could win, which is a lie, right? They tell you anyone can win, but it's the same teams over and over. Yeah. But in the NBA, there's a legitimate open field. Like you said, you have Bucks, Sixers, Nets, Heat, all in there in the mix. You know, Bulls if they're healthy. The West, who knows? You know, Lakers could knock out the Suns first round.
LeBron James is on your team. LeBron James is on your team. You got a shot.
You have a chance. So who knows? So that dynamic, I think, of having equal ability to support a roster in both a big market and build a team through the dynasty and the draft that wasn't available during the Stern era, that's allowed for the growth of the excitement of the league, everybody getting stars, everybody having hype. And I think this is the best time for it. I can't agree with people who say that it was better under Stern, man. I think the NBA is at its best right now.
And before we cut it, you know, I just want to applaud the players of the National Basketball Association for unifying and killing this run to the man game. You still got players attempting to do it. I am starting to see a lot of older guys. I don't really count that as a 2 superstar game because let's be honest here, a lot of them are not what they once was. But you're not seeing just this go anymore. Even with Brooklyn now, they're sick. Like, you know, they thought they wanted that. And then James Harden was like, nah, I don't like the ball running through KD. I want to play team ball. I want the ball. What is this? And that's cool. Go over there. Now we got a great scorer and a big man, some old school basketball with some shooters around them. You see what I'm saying? You got the Dallas Mavericks putting together a team like they once did because Luka refuses to leave. Giannis refuses to leave. We got the Milwaukee Bucks with a team that can be built on for years to come. The Bulls, go get DeRozan. He's of age. He's got some time left in the tank. You've made a culture. The culture of the teams are coming back because players are refusing to jump ship. For the Lakers to have as weak of an offseason as they had shows it because Kawhi Leonard said no. You know, PG said no. They asked a lot of guys to come play, and all they were able to, you know, when the alerts came out, we thought that it was just stunning to everybody. So everybody was assuming that this roster was just crazy, right? Because it was happening so fast. But you really look at these individuals, they just grabbed the names that were left. These guys were just left. They were available.
They were in a mad scramble.
Yeah, because all the guys, Alex Caruso, you know, DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, these guys chose to go play and open this league up. And, you know, that's what we want to see. It's the best thing for basketball. I don't know if I want to give that one to Adam Silver because I think the players, the competitive nature in that side has come back. Like even Damian Lillard, respect him, man. I think it's time for him to go personally, but he wants to do it in Portland. You know,
I don't blame him for staying if they commit to this revamp and do it all in this offseason. Like I'll give you the one more shot if I'm Lillard.
If not, you might need to KG that thing.
Yeah, and force it out. Yeah. I agree. But no, this is the best time for basketball now ever that we've ever seen. It's the top talent. Anyone we see who becomes a champion, they're going to be undisputed legend. I mean, it just is what it is. Giannis already down there with Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon with his accomplishments. You know, it's not like scrubby basketball is going to be successful. It's not like one-on-one basketball is going to be successful.
And then it's like as great as Giannis is, as great as KD is, as great as LeBron is, it's anybody's game right now. As great as Stephen Curry is, like Giannis had a dominant performance in that finals last year. You know, like I said, Suns missing people, which disappointed me, so that played a part. But he still had a dominant performance. Normally, when you see that, the world just goes 100%. There next year, they're going to the finals again. We don't know if they're going to win it, but they're going. But you just don't. I'm not getting that vibe.
You just can't say that.
Yeah. A lot of people are banking on it. They're like, okay, you know, maybe. But then they look at Brooklyn, they go, oof. Then they look at Embiid and Philly, and they're like, man, I don't know if we're going to see them in the game right now. Then you look at Phoenix rocking it's that big man deep, big man bench, big man DeAndre Ayton. They're starting to ask questions. So it'll be
I think
great.
that we could get crowned a new champion this season. Would love to see it. I think that the league has evolved in silver over Stern, silver and Stern over Goodell. I think we could both say, unless you're a Lakers
Yes.
fan.
Yeah, but overall, like I said, Stern paved the way, and times were different.
Yes.
To get the game going, I get it. You needed to have that suit and tie era a little bit so that you could span out to, other people. And so
And we have to appreciate that. So seeing the game where it is, I know there were some doubts about this past weekend, NBA All-Star weekend, but I think we can all say the game is at its most exciting right now. So if you guys will check us out, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video of Double Tech. It's your boy Dave.
it's cute.